before we dive into all the content of this week's show, we just want to give a big thanks to our sponsors for the show, the Bowls Academy. The Bowls Academy provide game-changing content to all levels of bowlers, helping them to take their game to the next level. Visit thebowlsacademy.com to find out more. Welcome everyone, episode 32 of the What a Load of Bowls podcast, brought to you by myself, DJ Dilworth in Northern Ireland, and Simon Little, still in Australia, but via New Zealand. We've been on a bit of a roadshow this week, Simon.
Yeah, we have,
also,
DJ.
Welcome back, mate. Welcome back after your week off.
Oh, that's it. You replaced me for a week, DJ. I can't believe it. 1 week, and you replaced me.
Well, if it was up to me, it would have been on a permanent basis, but Neil's a bit busy running the sport worldwide, mate, so I've brought you back in.
Brought back in, yeah. 1 week subbed out, back in again. But yeah, DJ just landed back from New Zealand last night, and you're currently in the homeland of Northern Ireland. So a bit of a time lag. I've got you up nice and early to do this recording.
I'm looking at whatever sunshine that we get through the clouds here in Northern Ireland, but you're looking at darkness as well for everyone that's listening. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Yep.
So you're on a bit of a roadshow because this week recording you're in Northern Ireland, and then next week where will you be?
I'll be in Edinburgh next week. Oh well. It'll be we're getting around a bit. You got to put the personal life ahead of things sometimes, mate. So the podcast isn't paying the bills just yet.
That's it. The show must go on, DJ. Must go on. Keep recording.
That's it. But yeah, last week's podcast was pretty good, mate. We finished the Omar interview, mate. What did you think of it?
Oh, just unreal to get those insights into an elite player and what goes through their mind, DJ, not terms of motivation, but on the green, off the green, and all the stuff that we don't see at all and we don't hear from. You don't understand what those elite players go through when they're at the top of the game. And yeah, really good insights there from Omar, and really, well, everything laid out, really, DJ. There was
candid, open.
Yeah.
He could, don't get me wrong, he could have went a lot harder if he wanted to. I'm sure there's a few things that he sort of kept up his sleeve just because he doesn't want to tarnish everything like that there. But he was just himself. He was open and honest, and like, if BA have listened or Bowls Queensland have listened, there's a mentor for some of the younger kids coming up through. Like, it wouldn't be much better. Like, you'd be jumping on that straight away, surely, like, because he's keen enough, he's motivated enough, and it's still fresh for him. So it's something they should probably be looking into. So good luck to them if they do. But yeah, I mean, it was great sitting down with him for that period and going through everything like that, and dropping that bombshell about what actually happened in 2021 when he announced his sabbatical. It wasn't actually a sabbatical. It was, here you go, you're either retiring or you're taking a year off, but you're not going to the Commonwealth Games. And that just unleashed a beast, didn't it? Like,
yeah, it did, didn't it? Really.
I know some of us would be sitting thinking, going, how has this fella taken a year off bowls and gone and won everything? Well, now we know.
Yeah, that was
that
was a motivation.
The motivation he's been given throughout his career that sort of opened the dark side, but really set him on his path. And yeah, just to hear about how not empty the titles were, but like to realise that Aaron's dominating, how good's this going for him, but to actually hear what was spurring him on, and it wasn't actually that enjoyable for him.
Yeah,
he just wanted to prove a point. So yeah, it was, and then to win that, obviously that third Aussie Open in a row, and it was very, very good. I mean, it was for Aaron to actually to be willing to sit and do that. Well, this was an honour, really. So thanks to him too, mate. It really made it, and I think it's definitely been one of the better ones so far.
Most definitely. Looking at it from not just a bowling perspective, DJ, from a sports person's perspective, gives you a good insight into what it takes to be at the top of your sport, and it's probably what a lot of elite athletes go through and what they sacrifice over the years in order to get there and stay there. And yeah, he definitely highlighted those things that sort of drove him on, and what also then he missed out on in terms of what he had to sacrifice in terms of family time and things like that. So yeah, it definitely was a good interview, DJ, and thanks for sitting down with him.
Yeah, not a problem, mate. Speaking of top of the game too, then we've got a couple of things still to talk about. We've got the results from all the nationals, which we haven't gone through yet because you abandoned me last week for a week. But also then, mate, big announcement in the last week or two there about Karen Murphy as well. You've got that in front of you?
Yeah, that's right, DJ. She got inducted into the Australian Hall of Fame. Bowler, getting inducted.
Not bad for a long bowler,
Not bad for a long bowler, getting along with the likes of Mick Fanning and Sally Pearson. So definitely amongst sporting royalty in Australia. And yeah, there was a nice little thing on Bowls Australia. Quite sad, DJ, that she was told that she was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame the day that her mother died at age 82. So really, unfortunate that her mother didn't get to know that she got inducted in the Australian Hall of Fame. But massive achievement there for Karen. And
jeez, that's a roller coaster there that day.
What a roller coaster of a day that would have been for her. And yeah, it's definitely, she's had over 600 occasions where she's donned the green and gold, and multiple medals at Commonwealth Games and World Championships, and you name it, she's been there, she's done it, DJ. So definitely
second best female bowler of all time on the What All the Bowls podcast,
according to you, DJ. Yes, second best female bowler, but definitely up there, DJ, as a legend of the lawn bowls game. And yeah, another feather in the cap for Karen getting into the Australian Hall of Fame.
Pretty big honour, that one, isn't it?
Amongst certain sporting royalty there.
Yep. All right, mate, moving on to the Nationals then before we get into this week's interview that we had lined up. So for those that have been, we are sort of a week behind with these results because of obviously different things. Travelling around the world would be one of them. But starting with the mixed pairs, mate, and gold medal for ACT. So it was with Armour and Jay Smith, a victory over Victoria, and the bronze medal there went to Western Australia. Moving on to the triples, the women's triples gold medal to the triples team from Queensland, skipped by Nolene Dutton over Western Australia, with Tasmania coming away with the bronze there. In the men's then, also going to Queensland, skippered by Kane Nelson. They defeated New South Wales by New South Wales male and rising bowler of the year, Jack McShane. Mm-hmm. They got the silver, and the bronze then went to ACT as well. In the pairs, New South Wales managed to take a victory in the women's with a gold for Dawn Heyman and Anne Russell, and over South Australia, that one, with the bronze medal going to Tasmania. Backing up in the men's then, and Brett Winter and Ben Spur got up 24-10 over Western Australia, with South Australia taking the bronze there. In the women's fours, Queensland again, Kelsey Cottrell skipping her team over Karen Murphy, who we just spoke about. So it was a silver for New South Wales. And the bronze went to South Australia there. In the men's, again, Kane Nelson coming out on top with the men's fours, with over Lee Schreiner, New South Wales taking the silver, and the bronze went to South Australia. It seems to be a running theme here, mate, of both winners coming from both states.
Yeah.
Or from the same state, sorry. Moving on to then the singles. All right.
Yeah.
Victorian singles winner, Kelly McCarran, over Western Australia, Christina Christic, and the bronze medal went to Dawn Heyman of New South Wales, who managed to beat Chloe Stewart. And controversial in the men's.
Why is that?
Gold, silver, and bronze all went to New South Wales.
Figure that one out. How did that happen, DJ?
Well done to Jay by Norris, representing Victoria for the last time. For a while, anyways.
No, in New South Wales,
Yeah, Jay's now of New South Wales, and he defeated Cody Packer of Western Australia, who is now also of New South Wales.
Yeah.
And the bronze medal went to Jay Bruce of New South Wales, who is actually from New South Wales.
So that's
he defeated Tasmania in the final. So yeah, Jay by
hat-trick of medals there for New South Wales.
For New South Wales. I wonder if all three of those were in the stats that were posted by Bulls New South Wales recently. But yeah, well done to Jay. It was his third attempt to win that. He's one of only two, I think, they've won the Victorian singles 3 times. So he's got his third crack at the Nationals and managed to get up. So yeah, well done to Jay. I know he's pretty pleased. I had a quick chat to him there about it just before I left. So well done to them. So well done to our national winners, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Always a good achievement, DJ, to win a national title in Australia. Definitely something that many players strive to every year, is to get to that Nationals and not just get there, but win a medal.
No, it's easy for people like Kane Nelson to just go up there and win too.
Yeah.
And his brother wins the champion singles, so there's something in the water up there in the Nelson household at the Capalaba Bowling Club as well. So
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, mate, moving on to this week's interview. Who have you got lined up for the listeners this week?
This week, DJ, we sat down a couple of weeks ago now with the one and only Wayne Turley OAM, somebody that I played a lot with when I first came over here, and lucky enough that we sat down with him, DJ, and he spoke about 2 parts, really. One was his playing days and for Australia, Tarrant Point, his representative within New South Wales, Queensland as well. And then also he spoke a lot about his administration in terms of what he done at Tarrant Point and his move up to Tweed Heads and what they're doing up there currently. So really it's going to be a 2-parter, DJ. So this week we'll have the first part, which is basically Wayne Turley, the player. And the following subsequent weeks, we'll bring out part 2 of that interview as well. So, yeah, that was a good one. I think that we sat down and got sort of both sides of playing and administration within our game.
Sounds good, mate. Let it roll. Welcome, folks. We got another player interview here with us today. Player/administrator, actually. One of the best around. Australian Order of Merit medal in 2017. Bulls Australia Hall of Fame member from 2017, also in the Bulls New South Wales Hall of Fame. Australia cap number 121 with 132 caps to go with it. World champion in 2008 in the men's fours. Been to a couple of Commonwealth games, taking home a gold and a silver. Asia Pacific's 3 golds, 1 silver. Won 3 Trans-Tasmans. A few runners-up in the Aussie Open, 1 in the singles, 2 in the pairs, 2 in the triples. 279 New South Wales caps, currently 4th on the all-time list. He's won 6 Ally Shields with New South Wales and 1 with Queensland. Obviously, New South Wales didn't enter that year. New South Wales titles, won the fours twice, pairs and the triples. Was the New South Wales Bowler of the Year twice in 2006 and 2013. Won the New South Wales Club of the Year with Tarrant Point. Won 4 number 1 pennants, all with Tarrant Point. 21 Queensland caps, bringing up a total of over 300 interstate games between New South Wales and Queensland. He is the current Bulls manager at Tweed Head. He's also been on the board of Bulls Australia, the Bulls coordinator at Tarrant Point. He's coached the Tweed Head Ospreys to 4 BPL titles, and he's won 2 UBC Ultimate Teams. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Wayne Turley OAM. What do you think about that, Simon?
Well, do you want to have a sit down, DJ? All that length of
get
CV
breath
there.
back, eh?
Get your breath back. What can I say with that? That's an incredible record in CV. DJ, how did this man not make it to your shortlist of GOATs for Australia with a CV like that?
That's a bit harsh to put me on the spot like that, mate.
Actually, yeah, that's a good question, actually, yeah.
Oh, shoot. There's been some good players in the past. It was a tough decision. But if we're going on GOAT of administrators, I've probably got you second after me, Charles.
That's good. I'm happy with that one.
Welcome, Charles, to What a Load of Bulls. I'm glad you can take the time out and jump on with myself and DJ and have a chat.
Oh, thank you. You've got a great concept going here, and I've been listening to every one of them. So I feel very privileged getting a crack.
Awesome.
All right, folks. Well, Simon's obviously had a lot of time with Charles, having played with him at Tarrant Point. He was lucky enough. I wasn't good enough to be asked, but yeah, we'll just forget about that and move on, will we, Charles? So going down memory lane, where did it all start for you, mate? How did you get into lawn bowls? Where did you start at? What made you really get into the game?
Yeah, good question. It was a weird thing. Growing up, moved around a fair bit, but settled in at Ballina, and there was this one afternoon just that Jack High was on ABC, and I was living with my grandmother at the time. And just she'd flick it on, and I kept watching, and a bit of interest, and flick it on the next week, bit of interest. And then sort of moved to Brunswick Heads and started going to Mullumbimby High School, and there was a guy named Cameron Curtis. Was a year above me at school, and you always hear about him win Australian junior this and a state junior this and Australian this, Australian that. And we used to get the bus home, and his sister Sam was a year below me at school, and bus from Mullumbimby Brunswick Heads, and then had a bit of interest there, and then didn't even try it, but so I was always busy playing other sports. And there's one afternoon coming back, getting the late bus home for I think it was soccer training or cricket training, and here's this Cameron Curtis rolling up at Mullumbimby High, and I thought, what's this weirdo doing? So we used to hide behind the hedges and then throw rocks at him. And
there's a story.
And it's actually true. Yeah, we used to throw rocks at him. I'm thinking, what's this guy? He was huge, Cam, back then. He was huge. And rolling up, I said, this guys, what's he doing? He'd win Australian titles, but throw rocks at him, hide behind the hedge, catch the bus home late. Not to know that about 20 years later, he's going to be the Australian coach, Australian chairman selectors picking me to play for Australia.
Good, how good is that?
Yeah, but then I ended up moving to Sydney, and then I was doing year 10, 11, 12 in Sydney. Didn't know anyone. Moved from Mullumbimby, Brunswick Heads. It was a weird, massive move. And then this guy, good mates now, he just asked me, listen, my grandfather passed away. I'm going down to Kyle Bay Bowling Club on a Saturday morning and roll a few of his bowls. You want to come with me? I said, I'd love to. So I started there. Every Saturday morning we go down there. They had a little charity called the Dead End Kids, or these old guys in the chalkboard, and we'd always go down and play on Saturday morning, then go off and play our other sport in the afternoon, and it all started from there.
Yeah, nice. So what was your first sort of taste of success that you had and made you think, well, yeah, I'm actually quite good at this, I might stick to it?
Yeah, I think there's junior bowls and the district junior. I won the district junior singles and pairs. Pretty fresh, and then went out to Dubbo and for the state finals, and it was just funny state junior finals, and I thought I was going all right. I thought, I won it pretty easy. I thought this is good, and then the guys, I think St John's Park, one of the legends, Peter Foster, Butters, he was playing for Parks, Peter Harry, there was Adam Gleeson, Simon Lack, Andrew Grove, there was Leif Selby, Tommy Ellum, and all those sorts of guys playing. I thought, I'm going all right here, and then one night was guys, you played Adam Gleeson, and said, you'll smash him, you'll smash him. I said, yeah, I'm pretty confident. Well, I got beat 21-2, I think, absolutely belted. And then the pairs we got belted by Peter Foss and Peter Harry real easy. And yeah, I thought I got pretty down to earth then. That gave me the motivation for the following year to go back and have a crack and train the whole year. And so I thought, I got a taste. I said, this is good. So went back, and the following year, state junior singles and pairs were at Blacktown, and by Jason Douglas in the section. There was Michael Grove, I think Leif, and all these other guys. I ended up winning the state junior singles, and got beaten in the final of the state junior pairs by Charlie Redmond and his brother. That was that, and then moved on to the Australian. I got beaten in the final of the Australian by Paul Harmon from Tasmania. Probably don't even know what he's doing these days, but so I got the taste, and over 12 months, and thought, that's it, I'm keen as, and then that was it. After that, kept going.
Simon, we've had some big names dropped on this show, and he's just dropped a heck of a lot of ones just for junior bowls.
That's junior. Junior before we can get into it.
This is why you're here, mate. This is why you're here.
Yeah, well, the juniors, it was crazy. Michael Grove, and he went on. Scott Cornwall was another one. Scott Cornwall, we're all playing juniors, and it's funny when you go on after that, and then Scott ended up debuting with me when he played for Australia. The juniors back then were crazy. You look at them now, where they've been. They've obviously gone on and represented in many ways. And Simon Lack and Adam Gleeson, they won the state junior pairs. They were legends. They ended up going on winning so many state titles together. And it was great to catch up with Adam Gleeson a couple of weeks ago at the five-a-side.
Yeah, he's just come back to the sport after a few years away there. So back up there at Soldiers Point. Mate, first representative selection, how'd that make you feel? Was it a junior one? Was it under 25s? What was it? When was the first time you get picked to play sort of New South Wales level?
Probably got picked in I think it was an emerging New South Wales side or reserve side. And we had to go down and play against Victoria or Illawarra. New South Wales were playing Victoria in a series, and the four skips for New South Wales was John Snell, Peter Rubin, Rex Johnson, and Alan Baker. And where I was in the merging side, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, that's where I want to be, but how am I going to get in that team?
Yeah.
And there was Sam Lagutsa, and it's just some of the greatest players, and particularly when we talk about Snelly, he just had his 90th birthday last week. It makes me feel old too, but that was the side. So I thought I was in the merging side, so played that one, and then I ended up playing a series, a state reserve series at Peakhurst. It was against a New South Wales side in a warm-up game. It was Robbie Warren skip. It was Sam Lagutsa, Reg McCullough, and someone else. I was playing third for Stevie Swan, Dale Maitland, and a guy, never heard of him, Ron Fontani from North Sydney. Never heard of him again. We won our rink 43-6 or something like that. Had an absolute blind up, and I thought that was a stepping curve from there. Went on from that, but and to full that rink, Robbie Warren's rink, even though they got belted, they came out and won the next 3 games in the Test series the next day, and was the best performed rink after that. So, which could happen. But yeah, that was probably my first stepping stone. But getting the real urge was watching those legends, Snelly, Reuben, Bakes, who was my mentor, and then and Paddles, who was one of the greatest.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's sort of fallen by the wayside in the last decade, isn't it? The emergence side, you just don't see it anymore, do you?
No, I was
they've
lucky
got different ways of doing stuff now, I suppose.
Yeah, I went on a few of those country tours. They were brilliant going to the country areas, playing against the zone sides, and that was good for the country to have some of the up and coming stars go to those country areas. It really was, and it was good to get those younger developing players on tour and sort of get in the habit of what's it like to be on tour of the stateside.
Yeah, well, MB is obviously at my club now. Man, he raved about some of the stuff that he went on to, and it was more about, it wasn't just about the bowls, but it was off green stuff too. Like he says, like some people you had to sit and teach them how to use a knife and fork properly, for dear sake, just things they got there, and then how to do finances and stuff. So it was obviously a big thing back in the day. So It'd be nice to see something like that come back. But like I said, they've probably got different ways of doing things now. They've probably incorporated that somewhere else down the track.
Yeah, it was great. It was good. There's a lot of good stuff happening back then. It was great. It was, and you're right. There was some people that had never been away before, and to teach them to be in a team environment, to when like a schedule and how to when you had to be, and on times late, things like that. So yeah,
I've heard that many a times come out of your mouth, Charles. So that must have been where it come from.
Yeah, on times late. Yeah, got taught. Paddles was a big one for it. On times late, like if you're there on time and you're late, and then I did get caught out once too. How to get a there was six of us, 5 of us. I think it was Kevin Walsh, myself, John Bazare, and a couple others. We thought we got down there in the bus on time, but it left, and we had to get a cab out to training and got fined and everything. Yeah, it wasn't a good look. Paddles was we saw sinking of his ears. We were up in Cairns playing a test series against Queensland and missed the training session.
We could have done some of that back in the day, Simon, in the under-25s. People would use staying out till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I think I would have definitely gotten a few taxis the next morning, DJ, and some of the trips that I went away with. So yeah.
All right, mate. Just before I pass on to Simon to talk about the big New South Wales rep selection, mate, you've dropped a heck of a lot of names there, like we said. But is there any standout for you? Like back in the day, who was the guys that you really looked up to and aspired to be like?
Yeah, I don't know, guys. It's strange. I had a sort of a mentor with Alan Baker, an old legend. He took me under his wing and taught me how to play weight, correct, minimum weight for maximum result. Players and the coaches have had, you got to make a presence and have a big drive and that. Well, I'd had a drive, but I was also based my game on knowing how to play a good weight. So Bakes was one of them, but other players, I don't know, I've been lucky enough to be around. Rexy Johnson was always good. I was lucky enough to have him there as a teammate, but also as an Australian coach. Yeah, Paddles was just quite sort of, it's just say the right things. He wouldn't say much, but say the right things at the right time. So Paddles was always good. And then obviously when you're around the players of Glass in New South Wales side for a long time, then first playing against him in Queensland, but in New South Wales, he was great. And just lucky to have some great teammates. Played a lot of games with Leif Selby. We're in the same rink together, we roomed together, and he played third for me for a long, long time. And then the back end, I ended up playing third for him. And yeah, so and a lot of success here and there.
He's an okay player, Leif, isn't he?
Yeah. We used to call him Andre. That's because his name. If you remember the cricketer Andre Nell, who played for South Africa, the fast bowler, the cranky bowler. Yeah. So Leif used to be a bit cranky, so we called him Andre. So the old redheaded old ranger, a cranky bowler, Leif, and then the old sports site got hold of him. The next thing he goes winning world titles everywhere in singles.
Maybe that G'd him up a bit, Charles.
Phenomenal singles rigger, wasn't he? Phenomenal singles player.
Unbelievable.
Playing his trade at East Cessnock now. So caught up and had a good chat with him at the AAO. He was up at the AAO, and it's great to see him back in Australia. And he's honestly, I could tell you that many stories about Leif and I, and tours, and even Delhi when we were in Delhi Com games together. And he was down and out, gone after 2 rounds, and he was going home. And we slapped him around a bit and a few little things, and next he comes out and gets beat in the final for him and gets a silver medal. So yeah, well that's good to hear. It shows you team spirit and how that can change things around, and especially in the cauldron of a singles game. Like it's the blue ribbon event, and it's very much personal. But to have that team behind you, I suppose that'll be a good story. That one. Yeah,
particularly with Com Games back then because of there's only one discipline.
Yeah, you're
they go to Com Games the last few, and they're playing 2 disciplines. So they get 2. So back when we played, he only had 1 crack. So the singles player usually had to wait till the second week. So they're sitting around for like 7 days watching and not doing much while everyone else is playing, and then chime in. So it can get a bit boring for them and lonely. And then, those guys, those sorts of things we got around Leif as the team does.
Not bad.
Charles, you spoke about obviously being on the emerging side of New South Wales rep selection, and that obviously you had higher goals to get on to play with those legends that you were talking about there that was on the New South Wales side. Do you remember when your first call-up was and who you played with and what was the result of that first game?
Yeah, it was back in 98, I think, or 99. I don't know. There was a couple of those sort of times. Occasionally, there was a lot of Aussie series or a lot of things going on, and I got a call up because there was 2 players not available for New South Wales: Adam Jeffrey and Brett Dupre, who got picked to play for Australia. Yeah. We had a series against Queensland in Brisbane, and I got picked. I was the first player in I don't know how. I think one of the first players ever to get debut as a skip. so I got picked as a skip. And I had Simon Lack was my third, Barry Benson, who ended up played at Grand Visit Terror, was my second, and Kim Jacques. He was my lead. And we played against Queensland. I thought, I'm on debut and all this. And the first morning it was absolutely pouring rain. It wasn't forecast, wasn't good. So, well, I'll probably get dropped after this. The other Aussie blokes are coming back in. But we finally got on the green, and I didn't play Glass. I'm trying to think. I played against I can't remember, honestly. But Glass was on one of the rinks. But, my first two bowls, the jack got put out the sideline. I drew a back toucher and a front toucher. My two bowls scored, and then that was the end of it. And went through, we won our three rinks easy. I got man of the series. And got a phone call from the chairman selectors, and he said to me, "Mate, you have put so much energy in the side. This is fantastic, and well done. Thanks very much." And the next side come out to come and play against next series, and I got dropped. I wasn't in. So the Aussie boys got put back in. I got punted, and then another 8 months or 9 months later, another series against Victoria in Melbourne and Sunbury, and I got put back in again. Skipped. I had Kevin Tresice, Jeff McGilvray, and Bob Oliver. So I had them in my side. We ended up having a great win, and then after that, I ended up securing my spot and kept staying there for the next 18 years, whatever it was.
18 years, Charles. And I'm sure over that span of 18 years, you witnessed some changes within the sort of New South Wales side. Obviously, a lot of players come and go.
He's mentioned plenty, hasn't he?
Yeah. Can you think back to a certain period or time within that 18 years that you just thought, wow, this is an absolute superstar side that I'm involved in?
Yeah, well, I think when I got to play my very first Alley Shield, I was at St John's Park. It must be 99 or something like that. I played third for Kevin Walsh, and across the greens were just like Adam Jeffrey, Brett Dupre, Steve Anderson. Yeah, it was just amazing. It was 4 rinks back then too, 16 players.
Okay. So
and we ended up. I was rooming with Paul Cousins actually. So he was. I was lucky enough to. I was the quiet one and witnessed some of the biggest sledges in the game. Troy Somerville, Paul Cousins, and Simon Lack. Oh my goodness! I used to sit back and go cringe. I said, "Hey, you can't say that. Like these guys would just give it to them." And you go with bowls, and then and the following year, might have been the year or the year after we won an Alley Shield at Tweed Heads, and I was playing third for Brett Dupre, and you looked across the green and the things you win. And Cameron Curtis was there all the time too. Tommy Ellum, and I just looked across the green. Geez, how lucky am I playing? The world's best here. And these guys were obviously playing for Australia and coming back and playing for New South Wales. But the 4 rinks, through the Alley Shields, New South Wales sort of dominated Queensland a lot. But once it got down to 3 rinks, I think that's what really made it a great competition. The small states got a lot better, and the Alley Shields, it made it harder to win.
Did over that 18 years, obviously a lot of players, what kind of changes was there from a coaching perspective or selection perspective? Was it in what you had to do as players? What did that change over the time?
I think we were lucky enough that through the time that the selectors became part of the team, not just the people who watch and drop you and pick you. Yep. So they sort of rode with you every shot and every good shot or bad shot. They didn't criticise. They were just part of. Once they picked you, that was the team. They weren't there to drop you. They were there to support you.
Yeah. And
lucky enough to see some great selectors over the years. Sammy Clough was a prime example. Kenny Oliver. Oh, my goodness. Kenny Oliver, what he did for the New South Wales side, the team bonding and what the culture he created, it was unbelievable. With Cloughie as well. Cloughie was the same. So when you went out on the green, even if you had a bit of a bad game, an off game, you knew that they weren't there to write you down and say, see you later. I've been early in the side. They were looking for a reason to drop you.
Yeah, okay.
If you did play bad, but they weren't. When that period there for a long time, they weren't looking for a reason to drop you.
You're there because we think you should be there. We're not setting you up for failure, type of thing.
We picked you for I mean, back then too, you had to win things. So if you didn't have, the old story was ink on paper to get even look in the side.
Get your foot in there.
I won a state title from Tarrant Point. When I was 22, I think state fours. Between 3 of Lyle Keats, Bruce Ferguson, and Brian Morton, and we come from nowhere. And so I got my foot in the door there, and winning a few other things. And I think the change was the selection sort of side of things. And then obviously if more evolved, and they got a coach would come away with you. But I think the coach wasn't really there there to. I think he's more there as a man management and support person, because obviously the players were playing for Australia and they were there for a reason, picked for a reason. So he was there just to give you that reassurance and not to pick. If you could just see something that maybe he's putting your game off to just get yourself back on track. It wasn't there about your technique or things like that.
There you go. That's an interesting one for the listeners, isn't it, Simon?
Definitely from
the rules of a coach.
Something that could be transferred to the club stuff and what the role of managers are, rather than selectors there to drop people to try and support people at club level. Which probably seen across the board, I would say, in the country, that a lot of selectors are there to get the red pen out and soon put the knife into a few people and get rid of a few people, and it should be looked about maybe the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. That's what I believe. Yeah. Always try to pride myself in selection is that once you select your sides, you tweak them probably a little bit once, one round or two, or after your trials. And once the side, so that's it. And you got to
just let it go.
Relay to everyone. So listen, this is the side. This is what we've picked. What's best for our club, and you're going to do the job for our club. This it is, and through the highs and lows. Doesn't matter if we're going to lose. If we lose every week, we're still there going on as representing the club.
Yeah, nice.
The backing of the selectors.
Thanks for tuning in, folks. Really hope you're enjoying this week's episode of the podcast. If you are enjoying this balls-rich content we bring you, why not tell a few of your teammates or club members about the show and help us grow our community? Make sure to hit the follow button on Spotify or Apple so you don't miss an episode. Just before we move on to the Australian stuff, Turles, what's your thoughts on the current crop of the New South Wales team? We've spoke about it a fair bit on here. Like it's just red hot with talent, but obviously you've come through the system. These guys have now come in after you. You've actually had the chance to play against them at Queensland. What's your thoughts on this current crop?
Yeah, they're outstanding, aren't they? I had a good look at them recently, and I think they just got everyone in the right positions, and I think they've got a really good setup, New South Wales, with the selection process. With they have a series where they play against the over 60s and over 40s and those sorts of things. So they have those, and I think recently they just played a test series where they had a couple of reserves and they chopped a couple of players in and out, which has never happened before. So it's probably giving people opportunities, and when you look at that, you got to see it's a big thing from the selectors looking in. You got to look at how the people react about not playing around. Yeah, how the people react going in. So it's a bit of a character test, not just a bowling test.
I like it from that point of view because I had a real whinge about that. I didn't like it. As far as I was concerned, if you're given a cap, that's your cap. It's yours to lose, and they were chopping it. They were basically using a test series like a trial for me. And that's I wasn't a big fan. I had my to say on the podcast about that and had a couple of phone calls about it as well. But we're all here for opinions, I suppose. That's a good point of view to look at.
I can see it. I believe it too. Like I'd hate to get the tap. I get selected and next thing I get the tap to say I'm missing this test. But I can see with the big picture now, the nationals and things. But then again, the Ali Shield's been going on for like 30, 40 years. So once the team's picked, it's picked. Yeah. So, but then again, years ago when people were flying in, coming in from New South Wales from other states, they had to go for a bit of a 1 or 2 years before they even got eligible to be played for New South Wales. So these guys are just coming straight in and then playing, and then it's hard. And there was probably one of the reasons this year I pulled the pin on Queensland is that I've been there and done it, and I love playing the competitive side, but there's so many good young players out there are born and bred Queenslanders and love it and deserve a run, and have an old bloke like me on the side playing, taking their spots is not fair, really.
Did it feel a bit weird, mate? Like, honestly, going from the blue to the maroon, what was it like when you first pulled on that maroon jersey and then had to face the blues?
It's a weird story how it started. Like, it started from the over 40s. I put my hand up to play the over 40s because I totally believe there should be a national over 40s series, like the over 60s and the Ali Shield. So I said, if I'll start this, I'll play the over 40s, get Queensland, New South Wales, get a few more states on board, and because that's what we want. We Bowls Australia do the local legends campaign. So I believe let's get a national over 40s to 59 series, 12 players, maybe, I don't know, rules that 6 people might be past state players, the other 6 have to be never represented. So I started from that. So I put my hand up, played for Queensland and that, went to Tarrant Point, played that. I got men of the series with Queensland. They gave me the medal. Oh, yeah, no worries. And then they come up to me and say, "You eligible Ali Shield?" I said, "No, I'm happy. It's all good." And the next, I get this an email. I've picked to play the Ali Shield at Broadbeach. Actually, I didn't get the email. I went through my spam because then the team got. And then the team got released and my name was in it. I went, oh, God. So they sent it to the wrong email. Yeah, and then that was it. So I said, yeah, listen, I'm competitive. I'll play. And I played second for Omar. And, yeah, it was yeah.
Another defector.
Yeah. We had to get 2 New South Wales blokes to win it, see?
Yeah, I love it.
Good one.
Love it.
Yeah, well, we ended up playing. We ended up winning that Alley Shield at Broadbeach. And it was funny, even though I had the Queensland jersey on, but when you actually play in the game, it just, for me, it was just playing. I love just playing that high level competition. And just loved playing second and shared a lot of good memories of Omar and things like that. So, yeah, we played together. And, yeah, the Queenslander chant, well, I'm not going to say we've said it, but it might have been a fine system we had to pay a bit of cash to. So,
yeah, it's probably money well spent, to be honest.
Yeah, no comment.
All right, mate, moving on then. So you've established yourself in the Blues. Moving into the green and gold, mate. When did that first sort of become apparent to you that you could make it to there? When was it on the radar sort of thing?
Yeah, I think I just had a lot of success in the stateside, and I got told a few times I was so close to making the Australian squad. They used to announce that at the Alley Shield, they call out a 10-man squad, and you're next in, and yeah, you keep up the good work. I said, yeah. No worries. And then I think it was 2004 or 5. I got picked in the squad. The coach was Cameron Curtis, and the assistant was Ian Schuback. And then, so I was in that squad in the period. But then, I looked up to my idols. There was Steve Glasson and Kelvin Kirko in the squad, Brett Dupre. Yeah, those players. And then there was Case and other players. Yeah, so I sort of thought, I sort of intimidated a little bit that I'm making the numbers up, but then you sort of get involved in a bit more and you realise how comfortable you can be with these guys, make you feel. And I think it was 2005, I got picked for an Asia Pacific as a reserve. It was at Darebin, so it was a lead-up event before the Com Games. At Darebin in 2006. So I was a reserve and basically just the drinks, bus driver and picking the drinks and stuff up. And then there was one morning I was out getting some ice and Cam gave me the phone call and he said, mate, what are you doing? I was getting ice. I said, you better hurry up. You're about to play your first game for Australia. I said, what? He said, Kelvin's crook. So I said, okay, no worries. I'll be there. And it was funny because Barry Lester and I were both reserves, but he'd gone off to play a pennant game. He got dispensation to go off. So I ended up getting the Guernsey. So I ended up 1-2-1. He's 1-2-2, I think. So I ended up playing a game against Fiji with Case. We absolutely brained them. And then that was the only one game I played. And when Kelvin came back the next day, they won a gold medal. And I think the results were a little bit mixed. The triples didn't go that flash. And Glasgow beat the singles and then semi-final, I think, or final. And then it went on. Selection came up. There was camps and everything else like that. And then it came the Com Games team. And, it was a weird process. And whatever happened that selection and how we went through it and when we all got told and called in these rooms and everything. And then, I got selected for Melbourne Com Games.
Incredible. How was that feeling?
It was unbelievable feeling, but it was a mixed emotions because we went through a lot of, honestly, we going through all these trials and things. There was combinations happening. Kelvin Kirko and Brett Dupre were playing all the pairs together, winning everything. $1 to be the pairs. The triples, Case, Case was there. Then you had Glass in the singles and wherever else. So we thought, there we go. This is going to be a whole lot. And then there's the team. And it was a lead-up event, Kingscliff International Pairs. They used to invite 12 teams, men, 12 teams, women's iron. I went and played with Brett Dupre. And he'd been on a fishing trip, and I met him there. And we're in our room, with a carton of beer in the sun there, watching the footy. He's got his guitar, playing a few tunes, and good old yarn. Next morning, wake up, we had to play at lunchtime, and Brett says to me, mate, just let you know that I'm pulling the pin today. I said, what? So I'm pulling the pin. I said, well, how am I going to get a player to play this afternoon at this time of day? He goes, no, I'm pulling out all Australian stuff. So what are you talking about? You're about Commonwealth Games coming up. Like, the team hadn't been announced, but he was dead set, him and Kelvin playing pairs. He said, no, I'm pulling out, and that's it, dropping out and everything. I was shocked. So went through the next days, we played the pairs. He had a few interviews and stuff, and we had a good time, played a great event. And then that probably changed the whole selection dynamic then for the Com Games. I don't know how the selectors went through, but then from being elated, being picked in this room. He gets put to this little room, and I was walking in. I saw Barry Lester. We thought, well, he's no chance of making it. So I thought, oh, Baz, what are you doing here? I said, oh, and he got picked. And because honestly, I thought I was no chance to make it. Yeah. And then I'm in this room thinking, hang on a minute, what am I? I must get a chance to get picked. And it gets right to the end, and the 5 players are in the room, and then there's Steve Glasser missing, and we thought, what is going on here? And so we went from this high elation, we're all absolutely stoked. There was a bit of massive controversy over that, leaving Steve Glasson out of the team.
Yeah. Well, he was only world singles champion at the time, wasn't he? So
yeah, current world singles champion. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I can only imagine what went on there, mate. So yeah, unbelievable.
True testament to Steve Glasson. He was the first person, went and rang every single person picked, texted them, shook their hands and everything. He was unbelievable. He to probably get the biggest knockback in his whole bowls career.
Yeah,
to play home Commonwealth Games.
Yeah,
the current world singles champion, but he put himself aside and put his teammates and his country first.
So you're off getting ice. You get a phone call to make your Australia debut. How'd that first game go?
Yeah, we played Fiji. Actually, I played unreal.
You did, yeah. Because that's an interesting mindset to go from I'm on the bench and getting ice. The other thing I'm picking up on me. The other thing I'm picking up on me. You talked about your New South Wales debut was because 2 Jackaroos were off playing in something, and you're talking about the Barry Lester got dispensation from the Australian team to go play in a pennant game. Whereas now, if you have a Jackaroo in your team and they go away to play in a camp, you've got to give them dispensation. You can't play that pennant game because you're missing that one. And we've already got a claustrophobic calendar. So back in the day, it was just is what it is. You play.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it is what it is. You play, and I've known over the years, and we're at Tarrant Point when we had to compete people on international unit. You just had to cover them. It's part of their away. That's it.
Yeah, not like that anymore. So it's not like I can't run my major pairs in a couple of weeks because the rookies is on. I've got people entered in that. They've got to give them time off to go play the rookies. It just doesn't help. It's just one thing. It doesn't help the calendar from an administrator to an administrator. It's very interesting to hear that. Because we had a similar rule back at home. Actually, Simon, you had to have 2 away before you could play a game off.
Yeah,
didn't you?
That was it before you could put your
so
game off.
If your Irish internationals off playing a British Isles series, you had to just grin and bear it. You're into it. And
what was the chance of having 2 internationals like at the same club?
Not from your club.
Home?
Mine was pretty competitive.
Well, yeah, not from my club, but yeah, that was rare.
Mate, we've had a chat to off record and on record with a few of the current Jackaroos, and competition for places at world events is absolutely fierce, especially in the squads nowadays. One even alluded to 2 guys nearly coming to blows on the green, and I'm still yet to find out those names, but I'll get them. Was it similar back then for you? Like, that's some heavy names you've been dropping there, mate, and obviously very competitive to get in there. You've already said Commonwealth Games was a bit of a surprise. So yeah, how did you deal? You said you sort of, when you first got there, was like, do it belong, but how did you sort of deal with all that to get to the level that you've now got to being a world champion and Commonwealth Games champion?
Yeah, you just had to concentrate on yourself, and I was lucky enough that the culture we created was about the team first. It wasn't about the individual. So if you went away to the selection trials, you just had to do your best, try your best, but in the back of your mind, you're hoping, or you knew the ones. There were a few that were deaf riding you. The majority weren't. So they're all same part. Lucky enough, the sides I've made over the years, and some great, like Lurch, and still playing unbelievable. Lurch, Case, Omar, Leif, not Billy Cornells, and those sorts of blokes. And the others, and then there was sides I made with Scott Cornwall, Anthony Keepy, and Trans-Tasman went to New Zealand. It was some weird sides. You just knew that they weren't deaf riding you, and you weren't deaf riding them. So if you just did the right preparation and you went there the right mind frame, and the culture was a good culture, and we played a World Team Cup in 2017 at Tweed, and there was 16 countries, a new event, 3-man event, and that's where Aaron Sheriff debuted. So it was myself, Nathan Rice, and Aaron Sheriff. On his debut, had his big yellow streak down his
big yellow mohawk. Yeah,
mohawk. Yeah, so it was his first game for Australia, that series. And it was an amazing series. We had a great. I went for like 10 days. It was unbelievable. We played actually we beat Northern Ireland in the final.
I remember that. That was Marty McHugh, Ian McClure, and Jeremy Henry, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, I remember saying that.
And then we played. We beat Canada in the semi-final. So when Bester hit me with a jack, but yeah. So it was good. It was good culture back then. So you didn't deaf ride them, and now I think they're still obviously they're doing it, but there's there's I don't know, the young ones these days. There's so many young ones around, and I still believe. I don't know. I just believe in the old ink on paper. He's just got to be winning things at the top level and putting your foot out there, your name out there.
Yeah.
Prime example. One person is Jack McShane. Oh my God! Like, look at him.
Yeah.
I saw him. I watched him play the Australian Indoor at Tweed, like the Australian Open in those crunch moments. What he's been recently. So if I'm an Australian selector, straight away I'm looking at that. Bang! There's ticks everywhere in there, and not only on the green and off the green.
He's got to get in the New South Wales team first.
Yeah, well, they say that. Well, I know I've known a couple of players I reckon have got picked for Australia before they played for their state.
Corey Wedlock was one of the big ones for me. It always stands out.
Yeah.
Corey played quite a few games for Australia before he actually made New South Wales.
Yep.
So he did.
I think Leif was pretty close too. He was.
Was he?
He was a long time. It took him getting the New South Wales side. And we played in Asian Pacific and we won gold. Leif and myself and Case, I think it was the triples. And then we went to, that was leading up to World Bowls in 2008, and we got runner up in that force, and the dirty Kiwis got us. But but Leif didn't make the team. The World Bowls team. So that was a big knockback for him, which he took, and then after that, that's when he moved on, won everything.
Yeah, he won everything, pretty much everything in the singles, didn't he? But phenomenal. The Turtles, you got to play home games and away games, right? So you got to experience that multi-game for the home one, which obviously was pretty big to be able to play at home Commonwealth games. Not too many athletes in any sport will get that opportunity. Then you got selected to go to Delhi as well. Can you just compare those two events sort of off the green for us and let us know the difference in it? Was there one, the Aussie one might be a bit more enjoyable for you because it was a home game, but there was one of those you enjoyed more than the other. What was the differences between the two, and what is it like being at a multi-sport event?
Yeah, Com Games is pretty special. Melbourne, probably the lead up because we sort of based ourselves in Melbourne off and on for 3 or 4 months once the team was selected. So we'd be there, spend a couple of weeks and come home weeks. But so you were getting the buzz around the lead up to the event when you were there in Melbourne. And I think once you got there, the village, knowing that your family members were there, your club mates were flying down for the day to watch and things. And so you felt pretty comfortable there. But the whole hype, it was unbelievable in the town, in the city of Melbourne in Australia. But also you probably noticed that when you get a big success. So once we won that gold, the whole thing just changed. The whole place went berserk, and the town went berserk, and the doors that opened for you at different places and things. And but to share the moment, actually, just sharing the moment with my family. I think my father was pretty crook at the time, and after that, he passed away not long after that. And then had my club mates flying down and for the finals and things. And then going back and share it with them because it was so close. You could share it so many people. Delhi was, we had a lead-up event in Delhi, so we went back to Delhi twice. The first time we went there was a multi-nations event.
Multi-nations event, yeah.
Yeah, so we got the experience, the 4 carpet greens, and there was a time there was a bit of unrest there with Pakistan and all this unrest and things. So we had the head guy of the Australian cricket team, the head security man, the Australian cricket team. He toured with us. He set up all security for us, and that was when we had Kim Littlejohn was Bowls Australia High Performance Manager. So to their credit, they just made sure everything was right for us to tour. And it was unbelievable. Getting off the bus and you had guys with machine guns in the bus with you. And the hotels we stayed at were like diplomatic security, 6-star. And like Case and I roomed together. We had a plunge pool in our room, and we had our own butler and things like this. And then security was just ridiculous. And then when we went back again in the village, the village in Delhi for the Com Games will tell you a different story. We got into a 4-story balcony. There's no railings. Water was flooding out of your en-suites in your rooms and things. But you just had to deal with it.
There was a bit of controversy over that, wasn't there, Charles?
There
I think
was,
in the media, in the village back then.
I remember, funnily enough, the Northern Ireland team, Paul Daly. I grew up playing with Paul back at Ulster Transfer Bowling Club. He was out there for, I think he was in the Commonwealth Games, but he was definitely out there for the multi-nations. And he said, like, all he basically did the whole time was there was just eat chips because the culture was just too much for him to bear because it was so much different from what we're used to. So, and then obviously us growing up with Gary's let us a bit of an insight into what sort of went on in Delhi as well. So, it's probably a hard one for the athletes to enjoy all around, that Delhi one, but mate, you still managed to come away with a medal, so hard to beat.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was hard, but it's you probably when you lead in those events, it's like the what ifs. What if it's going to be like this? What if it's going to be like this? Are you going to worry about it, or are you just going to worry about playing? And what we did was concentrate on performing on the green rather than the things that we couldn't control. We left that to the people of the chief de mission of the Australian team and all those other people, officials. They looked after all that, and we just concentrated on what we're there to do is to perform on the greens. And silver medal. Yeah, it was a weird one. And, we're going for back-to-back gold medals with Brett Wilkie on our side and sets play and go to a tiebreaker and just going down. But it was sort of heart-wrenching, but still, when you walk away with a silver medal, particularly going into that event and playing on those greens at the start, they offer you a silver medal, you take it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think there's two guys in this conversation where they would take a chance to go to one, never mind medaling at one, but 100%, mate. But to go to two, medal at two, mate, talk us through it. What's it like? Gold medal at home Commonwealth Games, standing at the top of the podium, singing the national anthem, mate. Just talk us through that, like you can only imagine.
Yeah, it was amazing, like singing the national anthem. The one thought goes into my mind is that just before I was busting for a piss because I drank that much water. Because the drug testers were there. And I'm thinking, oh, God. I was thinking, all I want to do, all I want to do is that I don't want to be sitting around and getting drug tested for hours. So I drank all this water, and Asada was there, so yeah, be getting done. And they were sitting behind our rink. I thought, oh, right. So I drank all this water, and you're in your tracksuit, about to go up. So I've got to go. And they said, no time. I go, oh, my God, I've got to go to the toilet. But then they go tap Case and Billy on the shoulder and leave me alone. I don't get tested. So it was Billy and Case. So after the medal presentation, Billy and Case went off for like an hour and a half, and all the crowd's left. I'm by myself, and then the medal around my neck, and the greenkeeper's hosing the green. And he goes, "Tell us what you're doing." I said, "Look." He goes, "Just go down the greenkeeper shed. There's a 6-pack of VBs in the fridge." So I got a 6-pack and got up in the stands by myself and cracked a bit of time to myself, cracking a couple of beers.
Is that saying that them two carried you in that final then? Because them two got drug tested and you didn't get touched? Did you have a bad game? Or?
Asked Jeremy Henry how good I went. He wouldn't. Yeah, no.
Good one.
Oh, I love it. That might bring Jeremy on the show now to have a crack back, eh? I think, funny, we've talked about this with Simon. I don't think Simon was aware of this, but I'm pretty sure Jeremy was interviewed after that, and he said, because he won the silver medal, he said not bad for someone that wasn't selected originally, because there was a bit of controversy back at home about that too.
Yeah, there was.
So I don't think Jeremy was in the original team.
No, I didn't know that one.
So wasn't. I think it might have been McHugh actually was in there originally and had to come out of it. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, we'll try and get Jeremy on and talk about that one. I suppose, man, it wasn't too bad. Got to sit there with your 6-pack of VB and just let it all sink in, just individually, I suppose. Just think where you've come from, where you've now finally got to the top of the world type of thing. It must have been not that bad of a moment, really.
Yeah, it was. It was unbelievable. You just got back and I did take a moment. I thought, oh wow, here we are. It just because it just went so quick. Sets play and over and done with. And I did play probably just had a night out. That final it was just probably one of those dream finals you wanted to have, and the emotion, the whole lot, and Case and Billy the same. So yeah, it was good. And then once they'd finished, we got back to the village and did our media, and then we had our own car drive, and they just drove us straight into town to this hotel where we met all our family and had a night out.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was a buzz, absolute buzz.
Amazing.
So I was thinking about those finals. How did you prepare for those finals? What did you do in the lead up, like that hour, 2 hours before the game? What did you do?
I was sort of lucky enough in the mental side of things. Lucky enough leading when I probably first got picked for my first game in New South Wales. I was a good friend of ours, Richard Pamana. He was a stats man for Brian Smith, and Brian Smith's one of the top rugby league coaches. He's coached over 400 rugby league games, and so he took me out to meet with him before I prepared for my first state game, and because I was on debut, first player at a skip and things like that. And I sat with him for a couple of hours, and it was unbelievable. Just and Brian Smith had a lot to do with me and the mental side of things and my preparation, make sure it's right. And he after my first game for New South Wales, like I was up, I was really up because I played so well, and he put me back in my spot and said, there's a 3-test series job to do, and it's a process. Mm-hmm. And after that, I got back and there was a congratulations card from him and everything. And he's coached Roosters, he's coached Eels, Parramatta, St George for a long time. And so I think with the Com Games, we kept in leading from my state career and in the Australian career, we kept in touch and for a lot. And there's I'll never forget, we won the semi-final against South Africa. Neil Burkett, Eric Johannes was in the side, and one other. And we were really up. We're on the bus on the way back, and he rung me. And Case was sitting next to me, and and we were really up. Like, we've made a Commonwealth Games final. And he had just got off the plane from New Zealand from playing the Warriors, and he just hammered me and put me straight back in my spot. He said, listen, why are you so up? Like, what did we talk about? The process.
Whatever you want, yeah.
Things, the 1%ers, what you're doing, why are you putting yourself ahead of yourself? And you're thinking about the future, about the present, and all these things. So having someone from an outside background, not bowls, he didn't know much, put you back and put you in your spot and make you think about what the job was and what the objective was. It really helped. And that's why I say to people, like, you always see people, a lot of people playing, they always think they might get in front by 6 and they're thinking about the next game, or they've won this event, who I'm playing next, not thinking about the present. And they put us back in our spot, mate. Think about the present and put us back into approaching our preparation.
How good's that?
How good's that, yeah.
Mental side of things, yeah.
Good
tip
tip
there.
there.
I look up to him, I haven't known him for a long time, but Smitty, he's one of the great NRL coaches. And it's a shame because they always talk how he's one of the best ever, but one that will never win a grand final. And it's a shame how the media and people talk about that. Like, sure, it's probably hurts him. He's got beaten a few grand finals coaching, but not to win one. But they forget about all the other good stuff that he did do.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Charles, you got obviously experience Commonwealth Games Village and that. Who was maybe the most famous person you met, maybe outside of bowls? Yeah,
good story. This one, we're in the village leading into our first game in Melbourne with Case, and the first morning, and Billy's all ready to go. He's always early. And I said, listen, we just go to the dining hall to get a quick snack. He said, no, hurry up, boys. The bus is leaving. He said, yep, sweet. We go over to the dining hall, Case and I. As we're coming back, they've closed off the street in the village, and all these people line up. So what's going on here? I said, the Queen's coming through. They go, no, you're joking. I said, we've got to get this bus. So we're standing there. No worry. I think Karen Murphy was with us, and then all the swimmers and everyone's there and everything. And Case and I standing and looking at this clock and said, how are we going to get across here? They wouldn't let us across. And the Queen comes walking down the street, and you wouldn't believe it. She comes straight up to Case and myself, shakes our hands and say, what sport do you participate in? And we said, lawn bowls. And she goes, I love my lawn bowls. I said, when do you play? So we play this afternoon. She goes, all the best, and moved on. And as she's left, I said to Case, well, would you tell her to fucking hurry up? Because, geez, we're going to miss the bus. And one of the guys heard us from one of her, he looked at us and gone, mate, we've got to go win. So she's gone through, we're gone, and we kept going, and then we had to go play Kenya, the powerhouse of bowls, Kenya.
Yeah.
We've won 27 games straight. We've beaten everyone. We've beaten Victorian sides. We've beaten everyone. 27 games straight, leading in the Com Games on 5 sets play. And we got rolled by Kenya in a tie break.
No.
And the back page just said, Royal Shock. Bowler was beaten by Kenya. So it was in the Herald Sun. So, and it wasn't a pretty afternoon back in our... it wasn't very nice with Case, Billy, and they wanted to kill each other. And we had to go back and just have a bit of a debrief. And then after that, the rest is history. We ended up winning the rest of the section. And, going on win a goal.
Our story. That is a story.
The Queen. Met the Queen. You couldn't believe it. She walked straight up to us, Case, and I got a good photo. Meeting the Queen off the cuff.
That's a story, that one. I mean, how soon after that, right? So you top of the world. You've won home Commonwealth Games, gold medal. How quickly then are you turning? At what point then did you start focusing on the World Championships in 2 years' time?
Well, we I just turned around to 2006, and then 2007. Played a few other events. I think it's 2007 we played the World Team Cup with Aaron debuted. I was lucky enough to play them, a couple of Trans-Tasmans, and I had Todd Simmons. I played another 3-man series at Tweed against I think it was England and South Africa, and Todd Simmons and Scott Corner debuted for Australia. So I had 2 blokes then. Played that, and then bowls we had played Trans-Tasman in Christchurch. Spent a lot of time in Christchurch leading up to the selection of the World Bowls team. And then, so we sort of kept ramping up. That was probably about 2005, particularly 6 and onwards, the high performance really kicked in. That's when sort of high performance really started, 2005. And, so that was really ramping up. And you had to, keep the calendars and this and that and your fitness and things. And I remember, like, Delhi, I did have a personal trainer in Delhi because to get myself fit, because you're playing in 46-degree heat. You're playing 8-9 hours a day. You're 12 hours away from the village, so you weren't in air conditioning. So that sorts of things. But, probably ran up 2008. I did a lot. And then playing the World Championships in Christchurch. Spent a lot of time there. I ended up playing in the triples with Case. with Billy, and then I had the fours. I played second with Case, Lurch, myself, and Billy. And unfortunately, we were beaten in the final of the fours by New Zealand in 2008. But lucky enough to have a great team. Claire, my wife now, the women won the World Fours. Omar was playing singles then, just missed out. But great experience. There's only one world, and after that, World Championships, a few has got punted for a little while, so dropped.
Got a bit of a reshuffle then, did they?
Had a reshuffle, yeah, a bit of a reshuffle for a little bit. That was 2008 because we didn't succeed and we didn't hit the benchmark medals we were supposed to. They had to obviously put us back, and that's when there was squads, and they gave us the option to drop back the silver squad or drop out. And I said, no, I'm not done yet. So I dropped back the silver squad and had the debriefs and what I had to work on, and moved on and worked hard to hit my spot.
Did when you say about doing camps and training and all that kind of stuff, what kind of things, Charles, did you do on the green? Was it like specific drills for specific kind of shots, or was it more general kind of match play, game play kind of training situations?
No, a lot of drills. I think in 2006, Shuey was assistant coach, and he was big on drills, really big. And I had a weakness there at one stage, my backhand runner. So I fixed the technique, and he said, all right, you got 1,000, the drills. I had 1,000 runners to do in 2 weeks, backhand runners, and which I did. And I look back at it, and then after that, there was a period I'd get on the green, a mat, play a shot, and a backhand runner. I'm going, oh, no worries. Whereas before, and there was a little, all these thousands of means things go through your mind. There's one little thing was poking out. Oh, don't pull it.
Yeah.
But for now, it doesn't. Yeah. But yeah, drills were big. Drills were big. They were a main thing. But at that time too, like we were playing a lot as well.
Yeah. That's
where the Grand Prix, even though they're Australian Open, they had all these Grand Prix, the Vic Open, New South Wales Open, playing in them, and then there was tournaments, it was this and the circuit. So you're playing so much as well.
Sounds like the glory days, all that, but it's all fallen by the wayside. Do you think rightfully so? Was it a bit too much, or is that the type of stuff we think we need to bring back?
Yeah, well, you look at it now. Obviously, they're playing so much now. It depends which state you're in. Like New South Wales, it's so full on. It's probably one change I've seen moving to Queensland. It's not as much on in a lot of your bowls calendars compared to Queensland. But yeah, there was some good days. There was. Like I was lucky enough when I first sort of hitting it, there was a circuit. It was worth a lot of money, but it went for like 2 weeks. So there was Ashcliff singles. There was pairs at Windale Gateshead. There was a pairs at Marylands. There was a huge fours at Beresfield. And there was a couple other events, and all the best players in Australia would come and play in it. And I remember getting a Guernsey in a few of those events and playing the Ashcliff singles. And my section was Bobby King and Rob Perella, myself, and one other. And all I had was this. And so I beat Bobby King my first game on top of the world. Then I had to play Perella, and then I was going really well. And he came away and he bought a jug of water and 2 glasses. And I said, "Oh, thanks very much." He said, "That's not for you." And he got me. And I was a young fellow then too, only 23. I said, "Oh, you rude prick."
That's
That's good. You would have been thinking about that whenever you were playing.
Yeah,
you'd be,
I was
in the head.
He got me.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it changed. I think all those years ago, there were some great events playing. There is now as well, but nothing like it used to be. But there was a lot back then. Those Grand Prix circuits they had, they took a fair
Jack
bit of
High things like that there. Yeah, it would have been nice to move to Queensland and play a bit less, but a certain club up there didn't want me. But we'll move on. Mate, I think we're coming towards sort of the end of the play-in type of stuff, mate. But as Simon's got written down here, mate, over 100 caps for the Jackaroos, phenomenal achievement. Is there anything in particular, other than the obvious with the Commonwealth Games, is there anything else outside of that really stands top of your memory of representing Australia in the green and gold?
No, not really. I think it's just the trips, the players you went away with. It was, as I said, we were lucky enough to have a great culture. So men and women went away together. Like for a long time before that, the Australian women went away and the Australian men went away separate. But once they all came in under one high performance group, but the trips to Malaysia, we had a few trips to Malaysia playing the Asia Pacifics over there and the greens. I was sort of outside. I had a great trip to South Africa with Glass, Kelvin, and Karen Murphy, a tri-series with South Africa and a Great Britain team. We actually played that one inside the Empress Palace Casino in Johannesburg. They built a rink and grandstands inside this casino, and that was probably a highlight. That was definitely an amazing series. But yeah, I don't know. I look back and I think, I was blessed. I probably wasn't. There was probably that time and the other time, there was probably a lot better players than me, but I was just in the right spot at the right time and contributed a lot, even though it was through my ability, but also as a team person.
100%, mate. I could definitely see that being picked up, like the team ethos within you. So definitely. But so that was Wayne Turley, the player, as you said. Very, very good interview there. Like, Turley's always open and willing for a chat, mate, and he certainly likes a name drop, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. He definitely dropped a few big names in there, DJ, when he first started out playing for New South Wales and then moving on into the Australian sides.
But he played with some big names, so he's able to drop them. He was able to get to that level 2, drop them. But he played sort of cross generations too. He was sort of the back end of some of those real legends that we see in the Hall of Fame and everything now, the Peter Rubens and things like that. But then he came through with the emerging talent as well, like the Omars and Mark Casey when he came down and played as well. You know, Shane Garvey. We can't not mention Shane Garvey. We can't. So he was definitely he was one of the ones that played across those two sort of generations and done well at both and held his own in both, and probably still be playing for Queensland for as long as he wants if he really wanted to. But I don't know. Yeah, we'll see where that desire takes him, sort of thing, mate. But what did you take from the interview?
Oh, I think like his memories is exceptional. Thinking back to
phenomenal.
All those games and who he played with and matches and things like that. And it sounded like DJ, looking from the outside in, that he was a bit of a sponge and definitely soaked up from a lot of the players that he played with and different little things from maybe the old hands of the game and 100%. Some of the things that newer guys would come in with. But even, I think one of the things that stood out, DJ, for me was when he mentioned about his backhand runners and he threw 1,000 backhand drives. I think it was backhand drives, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I remember.
Something like that. So you just go out in the green and literally throw 1,000 of them because that's just getting that repetition in. And
because the next time you step up and play it in a game, it's like, oh, well, I've done this.
You go, I've done this 1,000 times, so I can do it, no problem. Like, that's definitely one of the sort of coaching aspects from a player point of view that really stood out for me.
And like, as you said too, like, I mean, that sponge aspect, like, from, again, the outside looking in, you just think that's Wayne Turley, OAM, the personality, the aura, like, top player, top administrator, just top person. But to hear him mentioning all those names and clearly remembering all that he took from them, like the experiences he had with those people, playing with those people, learning from those people, administrators, players, whatever it was, coaches, and to put it into the package that we see now. And, you know, he deserves that OAM just for winning Johnny Green and New South Wales Bowler of the Year.
Yeah, I know. Anyone who gets John Green up there on the stand and gets Johnny a Bowler of the Year, you know, Wayne Turley deserves all the accolades for that, really.
He must have got the OAM just based on that, but
yeah,
and then here's the transition, obviously. Yeah, I don't think anyone ever would have seen him leaving Tarrant Point, but we'll hear more about that and how that came about and moving up to Tweed Head, I suppose. But it was what a guy. It was great to actually sit down with that, and especially from my perspective as an administrator. I'm looking forward to hearing that administrative interview coming as well, because I learned a lot from Turles there, but also can relate a lot to it as well. Like a lot of the battles he went through early, I've been able to go through. So it's it's been a good all around one. But hopefully everyone enjoys the player one this week. And we'll come back with the administration one in the next couple of weeks. So what else is up on the calendar, man? I'm a bit all over the place here between jet lag and time zone differences and that. But we've got a Hong Kong Classic. What's coming up at home?
BPL DJ is kicking off next Monday, which is the 11th, and that'll be on all week. So that'll be able to get that on KO. So anyone who's got KO, jump on there. BPL will be on, I think, most nights, DJ, won't it?
Yeah, I think so, mate. Yeah, and 2 new teams this time.
That's it. Your favourite, Geelong Jets.
Yeah, I love
and
Jets.
Sydney Saints. 2 new teams in it, and hopefully adding a bit more character, a bit more flavour, DJ, with two extra teams. And yeah, that's BPL number 20. We're up to DJ. So
yeah, it's interesting to see the format now too, because obviously with the 10 teams, it worked pretty darn well, and now we're up to 12, aren't we? So it's cramming it in the same rink space over the same time frame over the week. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes in the final series and that. So yeah, I'll be trying to pay close attention to that from Scotland for the start of the week and then back in Northern Ireland for the end of the week. But yeah, mate, any early favourites you reckon? Or it's the who's who of bowls.
It's the who's who of bowls, DJ.
A lot of international flavour this time
There
around.
is. Paul Foster's coming out. There's a couple of English guys, DJ, and it'll definitely add a little bit more flavour too with having that international feel. But as you said, it's a who's who of lawn bowls really that's going to be playing in that, and really all teams are up there with a chance, DJ, really, with the quality of players that are there. I'll be looking forward to. I'll probably catch a few games at night and sit down and watch it, DJ, while maybe trying to get Ellie to go to sleep. But that might be
that's a bad idea. Like that's just too high paced for a little one. I'm sure she'll be enthralled by the whole action. I can't see her falling asleep with that happening.
Nah.
So I can't, but well, while you do that, man, I'll see if I can rack up some interviews over here. I did send an email to a high profile player, but his secretary hasn't emailed me back yet, so we'll wait and see how that goes.
Okay. So back to DJ. Also, we've got the Hong Kong Classic. I just want to give a shout out to young Kyle Hansen, who's done the green and gold, old Kyle from Tarn Point, my Regional 13 pairs partner. So good luck to him in the Hong Kong Classic, and hopefully he goes good in the singles, and him and Cody are playing in the pairs.
Very good. Yeah, well, hopefully he's a bit on shackle, having not to carry you, mate, and carrying Cody Packer will be a bit easier.
I think it will be.
So, no, good luck to all the representatives there, and I believe Aaron Tennant from Ireland's over there too, mate. So good luck to. I'll have to mention him because I'm here. So good luck to them as well.
Yeah,
I'm sure Kyle will just eat him alive, won't he?
Kyle probably will. He'll just draw him to death, DJ.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, that's it for this week, folks. So hope you all enjoyed that international episode, and as always, keep that little disc on the inside.
And good luck on those greens.